I'm proud to be here representing the over 1 million members of Color of Change, Black folks and their allies of every race who believe that we need something different out of our criminal justice system. Color of Change has been working for years to push back against the private prison industry. We've pushed on corporations around their investment, pushing them to back away from a system whose incentive structures are in the wrong place. We've worked to push back against candidates and politicians who accept contributions from the private prison industry, understanding that those contributions, that those dollars have strings attached, strings that tie directly to the necks of Black and brown people all around this country. Last month, the Department of Justice announced that it will phase out the use of privately owned and operated prisons. We're here today because it's time for the Department of Homeland Security to follow suit. We need DHS to do more than publish its planned review of private prison detention facilities, which profit largely from an orchestrated misery of Black and brown folks, LGBT folks, poor folks all around this country. DHS must stop using these facilities. The U.S. penal system is fundamentally broken and off track because instead of focus on rehabilitating offenders, giving people a second chance, providing education and health care and mental services, private prisons do not have that incentive. In fact, they do not have an incentive of people leaving and experiencing a better life. Without a revolving door, these private prisons do not make money. This must stop. If safety and justice is what we want in our communities, we have to change the fact that money is inside of our criminal justice system, that profits over people continue to exist. The industry led by the Correction Corporations of America and GEO Group lobby for tough on crime policies that marginalize our people, mandatory minimums, high sentences for low-level drug offenses. The industry has spent over $11 million between 2000 and 2015 lobbying Congress for contracts that guarantee the beds at facilities run by private prisons will always be full. We understand who will fill those beds, and this must end. As a result, we see large numbers of Black and brown people serving hard times for minor infractions, for being undocumented, and this has had a devastating effect on individuals, families, and communities of color. We know that these privately run detention centers are plagued with civil rights violations like lack of appropriate medical care and sufficient food, that they are particularly dangerous and even in deadly environments for gay, lesbian, and transgender individuals. DHS, which is the biggest revenue resource. Let me say that again. DHS is the biggest revenue resource for private prisons and has an opportunity to shift the tide on this unconscionable practice of making money off of what amounts to modern-day slavery. That's why we are calling on DHS to end its contracts with private prison companies. Taxpayer dollars should not be used to reward those who traffic in human misery. We are here with our partners and allies, Mahente, Black Alliance for Just Immigration, Presente, Daily Coast, Credo, ACLU, America's Voice, and many more, delivering the petitions signed by more than 250,000 people around this country. And these petitions are not just pieces of paper, they are the stories and the voices of everyday people who want something different out of our criminal justice system. The stories of mothers and fathers who have had experience with these private prison systems because of their children or themselves. The stories of communities who want their tax dollars used for real safety and justice. We stand here today because at the heart of democracy, it's about making all of our voices heard. It's about being counted and heard and visible, regardless of whether we are privileged or vulnerable, majority or minority, or in favor or out of favor with those in power. So today, we call on Secretary Jeh Johnson and the Department of Homeland Security to stand with people over profit and safety and justice over moneyed institutions. And we ask them to do that for the people who have signed these petitions and people all around this country. Thank you.